Hello everybody, and welcome to the Creative Smartphone Show. It's me, Sab, here in Paris with a black mug today. It's a Gryffindor mug, which is showing this. It's magic because there's hot stuff inside, and on the other side, it's just black. So cheers. I need this. I'm very tired. I don't know why, but I've got lots of coffee in here. So cheers. So welcome to the show. This is the Smartphone Photography Show. And it's for creative people like us, like you, who want to take amazing photographs, get more and more creative, more and more prolific, taking photographs, lots and lots, and sharing them and getting inspired and inspiring others. That's what it's all about. And this week's theme, which was also in the writing group, because it's a little bit different this week, I combined a writing theme and a photo theme in one. It wasn't just one or the other, it was both. And I thought maybe this would scare some people and some people wouldn't take part or would feel nervous. And maybe you did feel nervous, but still most of the usual crowd took part. I appreciate that. And I think you'll probably agree that the results were a lot more profound than the normal shots. You don't have to add words to a photograph. In fact, maybe you shouldn't add words to a photograph if the photograph is going to stand on its own. But when you do add two creative forms, in this case, writing and images, you put them together, something really special happens. And that happened this week. So thank you. Say hello if you're watching. Say hello, and let me just share my screen. Also, remind you that, where is it? The sponsor this week is the same as most weeks, actually. For the moment, it's my Paris Masterclass, which starts in January. It's going to run right the way through next year, but it started now in terms of content. I'm putting out new content each week, and there'll be a live most weeks until January. And you also get the special deal. If you're into Paris, you're into my thing, the way I present things, the way I do things, and you're into knowing the incredible, amazing curiosities of Paris. The reason why I've spent half my getting on for a long life in Paris, this masterclass will tell you. So check that out if you want. That's at parissetmefree.com/master. Somebody is saying hello already. Let me move over to these groups. I will also be showing you my latest chapter of photographs. Got Dorothy saying hello. Hello, Dorothy. Dorothy's listening, and she says it was very inspiring. Well, let's get straight into the photographs of this special theme, portrait ponders. Can you see in the right? Portrait ponders. Take a photograph of yourself. It didn't have to be of your face, a typical portrait. In fact, I would prefer it not to be a typical portrait. And I wanted this picture to inspire you to write something. That's why I put it in the Creative Smart Photography group and the Creative Blog and Article Writing group. Okay, so I saw Dorothy contributed here, for example. Let's have a look at Dorothy's. Dorothy, you're here. Dorothy, this is your stuff. This is you were one of the first contributors. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. And it was kind of your feet. I said jokingly, it could even be of your feet. And sure enough, you gave us a picture of your feet, but they were covered. I noticed there's another photograph where your feet are not covered. So this is a lovely creative shot. Just my screen is a little bit dark there. Lovely creative shot. It's evocative. I can see your feet are in the water, and that kind of it's almost abstract, in fact. And you wrote a lovely thing. Now I hope everybody is happy with me reading what you've written. And when I comment on this, I'll read it, and then I'll tell you how I feel about commenting on people's contributions this week. Ponder. They're all started with #ponder. If they didn't, I won't see them probably. Like a leaf, I swayed on the waves of the sea today. I was lying on my back, floating, tanned my stomach, enjoyed. I felt the water stirring under me, uneven. The body followed, bobbed along. Timeless, at rest, liquid, splashing, soft, like a leaf, I thought, as I floated around. softly caressed by the water. I can imagine lying in the water, floating like a leaf and feeling like you're a leaf. It's a bit like Winnie the Pooh, uh, imagining that he's floating like a cloud when he was being pulled up by his red balloon. So that's lovely. Now let me blow the photograph up and let me tell you how I feel about commenting on your pieces. Well, it's very difficult. How can I comment on a creative piece by you, inspired by a photograph of you by you? It's almost impossible. I can say I like it or I don't, which I wouldn't like to say I don't like it. And yet, how can I comment on your creativity? Because I don't want to, because I really want to appreciate everybody's effort. I said, when I asked you to contribute, I said, whatever you contribute will be wonderful. So to be honest, I'm not really quite sure what to say. I'm just going to say something that I like about each of these and have done with it. But anyway, so I love the text, nice, and it's quite simple, but it's also very poetic. And there's something very simple about a leaf feeling like a leaf floating on the water. Sometimes, including myself, I get too complicated and I write too much, too many fancy words, too many clever rhymes. And sometimes the simplest is best. There's a type of poetry called haiku, Japanese, and I think it's got 3 lines. One is 5 syllables, then it's 7 syllables, and then it's 5. And you're supposed to there's kind of ideas for what should be in each line and what it should convey. And although I realize I'm not a big fan of haiku, I must admit simplicity is powerful. So there you go. Thank you, Dorothy. Now, again, say hello if you're watching, everybody. And if you're watching on the replay, hello, welcome. Thanks for catching the replay. I know a few of you do. Say hello as well, so that I know you watched. And I think there was another one here from Dorothy, was there? This is a long one. Now, I probably won't read everybody's text because it would take too long. I just want to appreciate this. When I saw this, I just cracked up. I thought it was amazing. This incredible series of photographs from Dorothy. Most of them, no, 3, 4, 5 of them have been Dorothyfied with her trademark mirror reflection. And it's just, you never know what's going to happen. In a way, she's brave to do this because I think some of the results can be scary. Do you remember last week with the hands? And she did one mirror version of a hand and it looked like a little sort of sumo wrestler made of croissants. It was really quite scary. I must admit, there's some lovely pictures. This one here in the middle right is absolutely beautiful. I love the way the light is shining on her face. And she's got a nice expression and the light is shining in her eyes. The eyes are very important in portraits. And to contrast that, just look at the photograph in the top left. It's very brave of her to publish it. It's just crazy. I think it might be the one in the bottom right, mirrored in a certain sense. I don't know what her nose looks like, and I don't even want to think about it. It's just, and her little mouth. Look at that crazy little mean little mouth. that little, bit between the nose and the mouth. It's a wonderful photograph. It's crazy, and you're very brave to publish it. It shows that you don't mind. Some people, they only publish things where they think they look wonderful, and they wouldn't dream of publishing a photograph where they don't look, in their mind, amazing. So the fact that you're brave enough to play around is wonderful. So thanks for that, Dorothy. You did write a big text, but I won't read it because it's a bit long for this 1 hour. She says, I was laughing to just the first couple of lines, laughing to myself about my judgment of the pictures of me, which is just what I'm saying. No, too serious. No, too old. No, too boring. Not a good day to take a photograph. People find all sorts of excuses not to, don't they? If you saw, I've started doing reels, and one of them recently was called, what was it? Decide? No, start, then decide. In other words, you have the idea to do something, start doing it really quickly, even if it's like 10 seconds of it. And then after those 10 seconds, think, do I want to carry on? Because most people, once they've started something creative that they did actually want to do, will carry on. The thing is, if you don't start immediately, the decision-making process will come in, and basically you find all sorts of excuses not to. So with photographs, you have an idea for a photograph, go and do it, and then decide if you want to carry on. Sneaky, huh? Because before you know it, you've actually done it. And Beatrice did a photograph recently, and she said it was a question of about 10 seconds that this photograph existed or didn't, because her train was coming. I'll show you that. That was okay. She says, I was laughing at my arrogance towards myself when I heard my thought about the pictures of me. Okay, I'm arrogant towards myself. Okay, so the thing with this exercise as well, what I hoped would happen was that you would reflect about more than just the photograph. You would reflect about yourself and even about life. And that's what happens. So Dorothy's reflecting about how we feel about publishing photographs of ourselves. I know the term for photographs of ourselves these days is selfies, but I'm not a fan of this term because it sounds like a crappy snap. But I'm not into selfies. I still prefer the old-fashioned term self-portraits, and that's what I want here. Shots where you've thought about it a bit, shots where you've tried to be artistic, you've tried to take something which is different, special, unusual, not like any photograph you've ever seen or ever taken before, if you want to go that far. And so there you go. Now that was what was published in the writing group. Not too many, because it's not very active, my fault. And let's go over to the smartphone photography group. So in this case, I'm going to search for #Ponder and see what happens. By the way, the photograph I was talking about, Bea took a photograph and it was a question of seconds because the train was coming. She suddenly realized there was a beautiful orange seat and a green poster and a bit of white wall, and she took the shot rather than not take it. That's it. 10 seconds later, that shot would not have existed and it wouldn't have been one of my photos of the week. I've started this new thing, photos of the week. I choose 3 people and I make one of your photos the photo of the week. Okay, here we go. This was me. This was my intro ponder, and that's what it is. Now we've got to you guys. This is in reverse order. In other words, these are the most recent shots, and I think you'll agree there were some absolutely amazing ones from all of you that contributed. If you didn't contribute, well, most of you watching probably did. If not, well, that's a shame. Why not? Why are you in this group if you're not contributing? So Angela, very creative lady from Greece. She's an actress and she's creative in different areas, takes beautiful photographs, and she writes. Now she's probably translating from Greek, so bear that in mind. And yet the feeling of it still comes through. And the photograph doesn't matter what language the photograph is taken in, right? Beautiful, grungy black and white. The curtain opens and the show begins. The drama has no title, no author, and I play big and great roles. Sometimes the heroes are mad or fatals. Not quite sure what that means in the translation, lost in translation. Sometimes my face with funny mask. Sometimes I am a slave or a free one. Maybe that's a Greek play she's talking about where there were slaves and masters. Sometimes I am happy or full of tears. Sometimes I am happy or full of fears. Sometimes I am laughing or full of tears. Amazing clown, well done, well done. At the end claps the voices in my ears. So that's super. Really like that. Blow it up for posterity. Let me know as you're watching. Say hello if you haven't said hello already. And how are you doing? How did you find this? Did you find it a difficult task? Were you scared to take a photograph of yourself and publish it? Were you worried about the words that you published? Maybe it's not, English isn't your first language. There's a double dare. Double dare. So those of you who published in English and it's not your first language, double congratulations. So there it is. There's something about being an actress or a clown or something. You can play another role, and I think that's an amazing thing to do. It's an amazing thing to do in life. I don't do it, but I really think people who do it must be quite strange, especially if your role is happy but you're not happy at the time. Must be something strange there. This morning I was angry. A wet cat left some mud and hair on my sofa. This is from Dorothy. Maybe not this cat. This cat never let me come so close as today. I sat 2 meters beside him, and he said hello, something he stopped to do some years ago. He usually only nods and goes. I tried to listen for what he wanted to say, but I didn't receive any pictures or thoughts in my head. Now, can I carry on reading this as it's blown up? Yes, I can. That looks good on your screen as well. I felt vibrations moving up my legs, buzzing in my fields. An energetic weight sat on my lap, buzzing as a cat. While he on my sofa sat, that's poetic. Then he fell asleep and took the place. He marks the place for the other cats. He shows them who is the king in the kingdom of my sofa and the kingdom of my garden. And that's a beautiful. I love the sort of diagonal one in the middle, and the stretched out one as well. Can't you stroke him? Is he not a friendly strokey cat? It's a bit of a shame, but well, angular again. And this is the one that was the most poetic, I think, isn't it? Really, and I'm a big fan of rain as well, so I really appreciated this, and I know other people did as well. Rain, rain, it goes on, always raining heavily, but now I can't see anymore. The car window was fogged by the heavy water. On its surface they run, slide and spread, and they go up and down, drops scattered, and each one stains and each one dazzles. And in the blur, I can barely see through the glass, the cars, the houses and the road. I'm staying speechless, and I let the rain sing to me so many countless stories. I'll just quote Kristen. Simply stunning. Photograph and poem. Jean. Now Jean did, this one is in colour, and she's pondering about Mother Earth and what we're doing to it. And I remember seeing another one from her where it was black and white, much more artistic-y. Who have we got here? A quick hi to Sab and everyone. Have to go, but we'll watch the video tomorrow. Hello, nice to see you, Facebook user. Don't know who you are. Yes, Dorothy, stunning. I agree. Okay, here we go. So yeah, she's wondering about Mother Earth. What are we doing to it? And a ponder, it can be about that, can't it? She has this lovely place to walk and to look at. And I know that this inspires you. I think you quite often post photographs from here. She's talking about it being warm and humid, her first time spending time outside for a few days. It's bad air in the Chicagoland area. Is that a term? I didn't know that. And because of wildfires in Canada. First time I've experienced such poor air quality. I can't believe some people continue to deny climate change. A little bit of a political message there. And I think later we see a version of that which is turned black and white. Okay, here we go. What have we got here? What have we got here? I wonder. It's Bear, and she translated her text from French into English. Not sure if I'm going to read it all. What a great idea to cover your face with a picture of your face. That's good, isn't it? It's a good thing, a good technique. And just looking at this, it's a bit strange, this picture. It looks like she's got pink lips, whereas I think the picture is completely in black and white. So I'm not sure if she added that. Anyway, it's quite long. Let me see if I'll start reading it and see if I get through it, because I don't want to, because I want to show some of my photographs. There's lots of others. When I discovered the new theme of this group, I immediately thought of a portrait I made in the photo booth of the Harcourt studio. So it's a famous studios which took a lot of typical photos like this one, typical lighting, in the 1940s and 50s, I think, maybe even 30s. So a French studio. And so she got a photograph of herself done in I think it was in a shopping centre. They were letting you do that. And and that just going through this. And she says that for years she didn't feel that she was creative, although at one point she tried. She was disappointed with the results, black and white, I think, and then didn't try again. And that disappointment could also be a teacher, for example, telling you what you've done is crap, which happened to me, and it can put you off for years. So it's wonderful that she said, I started creating things around 50 and started to make pictures that are not just a tourist trying to find an interesting angle. And she started writing. She's got her own blog now as well. So so that's great. That was me summarizing the English translation. So forgive me. Love this photograph. I absolutely love it. It's just clever. I really like it. Okay, so let's move on. And it's her again. Yeah, well, she is a star performer in the group. She is a normally there's a little label saying, you know, one of the top contributors, as several of you are. When I look at portraits, I often wonder what is behind the expression shown. I can't look at the portrait of a very smiling person without wondering if the smile is real or forced. A big smile can often hides a flaw. Clowns are often sad or anxious people in real life. We should ask Angela. I don't think she's a clown. I don't think she plays a clown or has a clown persona. Maybe she does, but she is an actress. What is my true self? Is it the one I give to people who see this picture? Dun, dun, dun. That is the question. And at first I thought, wow, okay, she's done a shot cutting her face in half. Great. But what is wonderful is when you realize there's something else. Okay, there's not a reflection of anything in her glasses. That could be one thing. But if you look behind her, well, you see the back of her head and you see the camera, the phone that she's taking the photograph on, which is wonderful. I love it when you see something a few seconds after you've looked at the photograph at first. I automatically went to her face because that's what humans do. They look for human faces. And but look at that. You've got the reflection, and in the camera, you've actually got what we're looking at, although it's completely fuzzy. So it's almost like 3 photographs in one. Fantastic. I blew that up for posterity, and I will blow this. I don't think I blew this up for posterity. When I say that, I mean, you know, if you want to stop the video and really look at this as you're watching the video, you can freeze the frame where I've blown them all up. And this is from Jean. There you go. She's gone even more artistic-y. And it's great. It's quite a dark processing, very contrasty. So there's no sort of detail in the back of her t-shirt or her hair. And this gives it a very strong, powerful feeling, almost like some of those grainy and quite contrasty films of the 1940s, possibly. I'm not exactly sure what I'm talking about, but when you go hard and you go harsh, especially the clouds, you get really nice textures in the clouds. And also the person, you know, for example, you might be tempted, if you can see detail in the t-shirt, you might be tempted to comment on the t-shirt. Here it's just somebody looking. You're not distracted, you're looking at what they're looking at. Although having said that, the jeans are quite nice to look at in terms of texture. And as is the wood, look at the lovely wood. The wood panels at the bottom lead us into the photograph. They lead us up to her feet. And interestingly, they're contrasted by wood panels going directly horizontally, which might seem like you're stopped. You're kind of stopped by the horizontal panels, but then you very quickly kind of lean on in your mind, this is me kind of inventing, you lean on the fence with Jean, and then you look at what she's looking at. So it's lovely, and I love the fact that, okay, it's kind of classic, you know, you say don't put the subject in the middle. Well, yeah, it actually works. It's much better to have the subject off to the side. She's perfectly placed. She's countered on the right, not by a huge space, but by a huge tree. The other question you could ask is where to have the human figure sort of vertically, up, more down, whatever. In this case, if you look at her as a person, as an object, sorry to treat you as an object, Jean, the object of Jean is slightly more towards the bottom of the shot, which is logical because feet, when you see feet in a photograph, you kind of want them, you expect them to be towards the bottom of the shot. It's kind of weird if the feet are a third of the way up or even more. So it makes sense to me that her feet are more towards closer to the bottom than her head is to the top. And we can also appreciate more of an expanse of this lovely sky as well. So that's a really great treatment, Jean. I really like it. The water level's quite low, she says, and stagnant due to lack of rain. Hope we get some decent rain soon. She's giving us a little weather report as well there, which is nice. You know, you can ponder about anything, can't you? I pondered about whether birds have penises recently. You know, wandering along the street, I saw a couple of birds on a wire having fun, and I thought, hang on a second, I've never seen anything. Anyway, that's another story for another time. It was I made it into a reel if you want to check out that. Facebook user says, I was a lot inspired this week. Thank you so much. Great. Who are you, Facebook user? I'd love to know who I've inspired, or who has been inspired, not just by me, but by everybody that contributed. And well done again. Thanks for being brave, everybody. This is Nazanin contributing a shot of her brother from more than 60 years ago. It was taken in a photo studio. I would say not the same as Bear's photo studio because the lighting is different. And he was forced to take a fake pondering pose. It's really strange when you see kids in formal portrait attire and position. You know that it's fake. You know, look at him sticking his finger into his cheek, and it's kind of bent up unnaturally, like it's going to snap. You know that the photographer has said that, and the kid's sort of going with it. I know this sort of thing because I've done portrait sessions with kids in the past. You know, and yeah, okay, you can make them look super cute and stuff, but sometimes it's just so unnatural. But this is lovely, you know. I just go with Nazanin. It's a wonderful memory. You don't say souvenir, do you? What do you say? Keepsake. The result's not very natural, but cute. Well, you said it. It's lovely, Nazanin. Thanks for sharing that. Black and white. It's actually sepia, isn't it? In other words, slightly brown. I wonder what he's reading there. Maybe the photographer put something. Maybe it's his pictures. That's such a wonderful thing to have. When I went to my parents recently, I looked through some of my old childhood photos, and it's kind of scary, actually. And here's Jean pondering again, and that she really is pondering, and she's pondering as the treasurer of a non-profit called Rainbow Animal Assisted Therapy. Basically, she takes her cute pooch to hospitals and lets people stroke him and feel better. Him or her, oh my God, what's she called? Maddie, I think it's a girl. I ponder over my reports and make final adjustments to a draft budget that was presented to board members. So it's a wonderful volunteer organization. Dog therapy, who'd have thunk it? So yeah, that's wonderful. And it's a great shot. I really like it. Very reflective. Beautiful from the side. When you take photographs from the side, some people don't think they've got a photograph from the side profile. You know, it's a bit like saying you've got a face for radio. You've got to be careful with profiles. Well, when I say that, obviously, you know, you're fine as a human being. Don't change your face for me. But you know, sometimes people don't find that their profile is as flattering as they think it should be. You know. But also, all that set aside, so here is a beautiful profile picture, lovely profile, and the edge of her face is brightly lit, probably from her screen of it looks like the screen of the computer maybe, or maybe it's a window. And behind in the distance is a very dark thing, which highlights the edge of her face beautifully. Absolutely lovely. Did I blow that up? There it is. All right, we're about halfway through here. I can't believe that. That's me. I've started doing these things called reels. I think it's something young people do, but I'm pretending. So my reels are normally about you getting to be more creative. So watch them all and do what I say, and you'll probably, be okay. Hello, Rob, and Rob is pondering. Rob, as usual, is pondering something which is not the same as what other people ponder. Rob has this kind of sideways look at life, and there he is, having a sideways glance about the ceiling vents blowing cold air about. There you go. He was in his office, and he did a ponder for us. There it is. I appreciate that, Rob, and it's pretty cool. Is that the shirt you normally work in? You're okay. I'm just joking. Looks like you're getting ready for retirement already. I think it's coming soon, isn't it? You've got a few more days or weeks, and then you're retired, and you can sit on that, go over that bridge you built, sit on your rock, and smoke your cigar and drink your bourbon or whatever it is, and probably ponder about what new photographs you're going to contribute to the group in the next week or so. And here's Kristen pondering what is happening. Did I blow you up, Rob? There you go. Big Rob. I don't know why I say that, but you look like a sort of big Rob. And here's Kristen pondering what's happening in the galaxy right now. What's happening in the galaxy right now? You can probably look it up on the internet. Wondering, apparently there's going to be a big moon coming. Wondering what it's like on the moon tonight and what it must be like to look down on this very spot. Well, the moon is probably looking down on you, pondering and thinking, wondering what she's pondering about. And you're wondering what the moon's pondering about. And what was I going to say? Yeah, there's something called a supermoon or something coming, which, I mean, the moon stays the same size, folks, but it's both a full moon and as close to the Earth as it gets, because it's not always as close. It goes on a kind of elliptical thing, where sometimes it's far from the Earth, so it looks smaller, and sometimes it's close to the Earth. So apparently there's a big moon coming up soon. Check it out. And are there any more? Maybe that's it. There you go. So we had some wonderful ponders. Just maybe check, just in case there's a last minute ponder somewhere. How do I check? Don't know. So thanks, everyone. I'm going to show you some of my photographs now. Feel free to carry on sending in your ponders with your photos. It doesn't matter. Just put #ponder. Post your self-portrait with a text. It's your group. You can contribute anything at any time, as long as it's a photograph that you've taken, and you post it directly in the group and you put a little comment, then go for it. So that is the homepage, and I think that is it for ponders. So wait a minute, that's new. Maybe because she put an I before the thing, it didn't come through. So Dorothy is saying illusion or not, fantasy or not. I told you we'd get some of Dorothy's feet. I'm speaking with a friend on the phone, sitting down, walking around, listening, talking. My mind is far away, moving in time and space. After we hang up, I felt strange and I walked. Different feelings in each foot, looking down. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Dun, 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 and look at this. 2 different types of footwear, and in the right one, 4 feet. Dorothyfied. Okay, there we are. And I have also contributed a few this week too. All right, so there it is. Thanks for playing. How are you doing, everyone? Do say hello. If you're watching the replay, say hello. If you didn't contribute, why not? You can still contribute. And let's have a look at some of my photographs, shall we? So I finished a chapter this week, and it was a theme chapter. And the theme chapter was this. I'm not sure if I've shown you this. I think I showed you half of it, or maybe even all of it. It does have the text now. And it was a theme about a special day in France called the l'Appel du 18 juin. So the appeal of the 18th of June, when General de Gaulle appealed for people to resist the Nazis in 1940 from London, Radio London. And this is a day to commemorate that. And I was invited and I was there. So not all of these shots are there. Some of them are in the museum in Paris, where Behr works, and where it's a museum for people who received a high decoration in the Second World War from General de Gaulle for resisting. So it's a mixture, and I'm really pleased with it. not just because I think the photographs are really cool, but also because the text that it inspired in me, I felt were quite, some of them were quite profound. I learnt about this event. I mean, I didn't really know about it before, and not really. And it's great to learn about the history, especially of the country that you live in. I'm just going to try and make a comment about each one of these. Feel free to tell me if you like one in particular and what you like about it. When you do that, it's a way of you also internalizing something. And when you do that, you might remember next time you're taking a photograph, oh yeah, I like that photograph that I saw of, Sab or Dorothy or someone. I wanted to try that effect. Okay, so here's the thing. You're at an event and you don't have a very good view, and you think, well, this is a bit of a shame. And yet suddenly I realized right in front of me, blocking the view almost, especially when they kept standing up. Every time there was a flipping tune, they all bloody stood up and blocked the view. They're military people. Every time there's a specific, oh, let's all stand up. Okay, no one at the back can see, fine. Anyway, so there he was. I had the subject in front of me all the time. And there's something powerful about not seeing the face. He represents all soldiers, if you like. If you can't see the face, they represent all of what they seem to be. So in a way, he represented all soldiers. It's echoed by people in the front row saluting as well. And then you can have all sorts of ponders about this idea of deciding to devote your life or commit yourself to potentially being sent to fight and possibly die for a cause. What must you feel about that cause for you to do that? I don't know if you hope you won't go to battle or you hope you will. I think there's probably some of both. And yet, so anyway, I won't go into a deep thing there, but it got me thinking about that. I don't think I could be a soldier. I don't know if I'd want to kill somebody, even in the name of anything. I don't know, and yet here I am quite happily living in a country, a vaguely peaceful country, apart from the odd riot every now and then. And it's thanks to people like this. So I felt a deep respect, deep gratitude, and at the same time, slightly uneasy. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. Anyway, so there you have that. This one is, it's got a bird. See the bird? There you go. The bird looks a bit like the top of that flagpole. No, it doesn't. So what have I got here? I've got a lovely picture of the dome of Invalides and a flagpole, which is the French flag. It's actually got a thing you'll see on later, a special part to it. For some reason, the world was tilting at that time. I don't know why. Maybe it drunk too much. I love the windows, and a bird went past. Oh, I'm pleased with that. I like it. It's got more than one thing. It's not just a standard tourist shot. It's got a nice sky, funky angle, and it's got the flag balancing out, diagonals there. I like it. This was my ponder. I had to put in. I didn't have to, but I normally any chronicle that ends in a 1 is normally a self-portrait. So there it is. I didn't have one of me at any of these events, so I just chose one that looked suitably pondery and wrote about it. This one here is he was framed. It says he was framed. Now, Dorothy, you're probably talking about the soldier. Talking about the soldier, possibly framed by the others, or maybe that's okay. This is a huge cross. You can see how big it is because it's got people underneath it. Huge stone cross. Paris is surrounded by forts, and it was supposed to create. I think I talked about these last week. Supposed to protect Paris, but obviously it doesn't. As soon as you've got planes that can bomb you and stuff. But it's the outside wall of a fort, one of the forts, which became a memorial to those killed during the war. And so that's that. You'll see that number 1945 again in a second. This is a window. Through the window, you can see the flag. I mean, it's a reflection. It's not looking through the window. It's a reflection in the window. You can see the Eiffel Tower on the left and the flag with the cross, special cross of Lorraine, La Croix de Lorraine, which became the symbol of the French resistance, the Free France movement. And I just like the window in particular, a very, very nice window with a couple of interesting things reflected in it. Here's the flag again, with the Eiffel Tower again. That's what was reflected in the window. So, you know, there it is. It's nice, colourful. Got two things that I like, so that became a photograph. This was taken from a moving bus. And you might think you're on a moving bus and, well, forget it. Through a window as well. So I thought, you know, there's no way I'll get a good shot of that. And I ended up getting a shot I'm very pleased with. It, you know, it was blurry, it was in the distance, and yet, what a shot. There are even two people in black. They look elongated, they are elongated, the photo's been played around with, and yet there's something incredibly moving about this field of crosses. I talk about it in the text if you want to see what that inspired. There's a poem as well. This poem actually talks about my thoughts about soldiers, I guess. Well, here it is. Land in sight. What drives a man to die? What pushes pride so high? On a foreign field destined to lie, white crosses yield to yearning sky. Slim shadows drifting slowly by, sifting dry seeds from deeds awry. My shifting mind needs something kind, a guide to learning why. So that was me pondering about, you know, being a soldier and stuff. And it's the American cemetery, the Suresnes American Cemetery overlooking Paris from the slopes of Mont Valérien, which is one of those forts, cradles the remains of more than 1,500 American soldiers from World War I and some from World War II. And it's a sobering sight, bathing in Lady Eiffel's light. So, you know, powerful stuff. This was from a grab shot from a moving coach. So, you know, take the photograph and then see what happens. Start, then decide. It's all part of this philosophy, which I promote everywhere, in all my groups, in the Today's the Day community. It's all about appreciating today and being as creative as you can. And that's what I want from you, for you and from you. Because my little philosophy is that the more you create, creating is equal to living. So the more you create, the more you're living. And it's, you know, my little philosophy is create, share, and learn as a cycle, a never-ending cycle. You don't always have to be doing something, but you really feel like you're alive and you're living life when you do. Like when you contribute and you get a reaction. This is what it's about. This is what life's about. It's about sharing, creating and sharing. And so that's that. Have I been talking about all of that and it's been really small? Don't know. So that was my poem. There was another poem here. I'll spare you the reading of it, but you can always stop the screen and read it if you like. So that was that. And here is this week's. So far, how are we doing? Did I blow all of them up? I didn't blow these last two up actually. So this one here, there's the 1945 again. And again, I got the soldiers. And for some reason, I was a bit disappointed because I couldn't really see much of the ceremony in the marching bands. I had a view of this wall and the big cross, which was pretty cool. And and I took this shot and I suddenly realized what an amazing shot. I mean, what an amazing opportunity that I had. The three soldiers, really iconic, beautifully framing the bottom of the shot. The two on the outside are lower than the guy in the middle, which is good because that means we can see two of the 16 bronzes which were on this wall, which show allegorically aspects of World War II. So the one on the left, if I remember, is France deciding to resist the invaders whilst holding its mourning its fallen children, the children of a country being, you know, its people, its men, its women, and vowing to fight back and not give up. And on the right, there's 16 of these, but these two, the one on the right, again, it's all allegorical. So it's a lion battling and chasing away a serpent. You know, serpents get a really bad rap, don't they? You know, from the Bible onwards. What did the snake ever do? It didn't ask to be the baddie. Anyway, it is normally, and there it is. It's getting chased away by the lion. The lion is obviously France, wounded, but not defeated, like the motto of Paris. I can't remember what it is. It's some Latin thing, and the symbol of Paris is a boat, and the Latin means shaken by the waves but not sunk, and that's basically the same as this. Wounded lion but not defeated, still manages to chase away the nasty Nazi snakes. So, you know, there's powerful stuff everywhere. There are two guys up here. You know, they were checking their phones. They're supposed to be protecting us so that there isn't some sort of drone coming to kill us all. The president was there as well, you know. So there they were checking their phones. I'm convincing myself they were checking to make sure that all their comrades who are also protecting us were, you know, hadn't seen anything bad. But maybe they were reading, you know, my page on Facebook. I don't know. But it's pretty cool because they're up there in the top right, on top of this wall. And then down in the middle left, there's a nice diagonal there. There's the bird flying over the four. You know, that is a bird. It's not a fake. I didn't Photoshop it in. There's a bird flying over there. It's kind of like 1945, the end of the war. Freedom is back. There's the bird flying away. Cool, no? And this is the last one in the series. And I thought it was a good one to finish with. You start in the top left with the soldier, the brave soldier. This hat here and the insignia means he's a general. There's various ranks of generals. This is another good reason for taking photographs regularly on something that really interests you. Because every time you find something new you hadn't seen before, you do the research and you learn something new. So I learned all about French generals, and there's another whole bunch of ranks for the Navy, because that's for the Army. Then I checked out the British to see how they, and the Americans, see how they line up. You know, you get different types of generals. The Americans have different number of 4-star general, 5-star, and the French have this as well. On the thing there on his shoulder, you can see what sort of general he is, and on his hat as well. And yeah, quite moving. And then in the bottom right is the award, which was given to a little bit over 1,000 people and a certain number of towns and communities for those who resisted in the Second World War and helped greatly in the liberation. Unfortunately, sometimes they helped by giving their lives. So some of these were awarded posthumously, with the famous cross there that was adopted as a kind of a symbol to counter the symbolism of the swastika and the Iron Cross, because a symbol, you know, it unites people, it makes them think that they belong to something. So symbols are powerful. They bring people together. So, you know, the French, they needed one. It helped, you know, so they chose that, which has a long history. It goes back not just to France or even earlier on in French history, but it goes back, you know, into sort of Eastern European history, maybe possibly Greek and Constantinople, Byzantine Empire and stuff like this, and possibly even before that, you know. So powerful symbol. There it is. All right, so that's that. And I can quickly show you, I'm on time for once. I can quickly show you where I'm up to in the next one. And in the next one, I've got about 3 or 4 shots. Here it is. So this is there's no theme. Oof, it's quite a relief, you know. I did a theme on the wrapped Arc de Triomphe. I did a theme on this military thing. Now it's just back to random shots of Paris. By the way, you might be thinking that Paris is quite a dangerous place to be at the moment. Have you heard about the riots? Paris is okay, you know. If you're thinking of coming, come, don't cancel. But I went into Paris today. I had a fantastic day. I got a whole chapter's worth of new shots, little details of Paris that I'd forgotten about. Really great. Loads of stuff for my masterclass as well. Probably got about 5 or 6 new information sheets for my masterclass, which you can join for the best price ever. Not ever, but the best price you will ever get going forward. And I've got about 5 or 6 new Paris Curio files for members of the masterclass. And there were riots last night, and 700 people got arrested. And the night before, 1,000 people got arrested because some police person shot a 17-year-old kid driving a car. You know, no political comment, but this sparked off riots all over the place. And you know, it seems pretty crazy. I think a lot of French people are pretty tired of it. Another month, another reason to riot. You know, what does that say? Well, I won't go into details. This was pretty crazy. I saw in the news that a building exploded. I'm really trying to convince you that Paris it's really safe, it's okay. So here's a picture of a building that spontaneously exploded in central Paris. Anyway, oh God, I nearly said this sparked off a review of the French gas system because it blew up apparently because of a gas leak. And then maybe someone, I don't know what, lighting a cigarette, kaboom, 50 people in hospital. And an American fashion school destroyed, or at least one part of it. I'm not sure if it's God's retribution for Emily in Paris or not, but kind of crazy, you know, just a building spontaneously exploding in the middle of Paris, in the 5th, just next to 𝗏𝗏𝗏 old hospital and stuff. It's just anyway, I got this close. It was the day after. Got this close, couldn't get any closer, and there it is. Here there used to be a building where that black wall is. Wild. Here's a picture of a bird flying over the Eiffel Tower. Huge bird, you know. It just about 1 second after it grabbed the Eiffel Tower with its talons, unearthed it, and flew off down the river. I don't know where it is now. We don't have an Eiffel Tower anymore. I actually used this for some of my English website questionnaire. So this is I take a lot of my Paris shots. I cross-pollinate. So I take a lot of my Paris shots and also my Lake District shots, I guess, soon. And I make English quizzes for people who are learning English. So this was, I think the question I used, but I wonder if I don't know if I can find it. Where would I have put it? Let's see if I can find it just for the hell of it. So I've got these pages for learning English, fun English, and I do quizzes. And if you know anyone who'd like to learn English in a fun way, here I am. I'm going to start doing reels as well. Going to put these things on reels. They only last 60 seconds. So, you know, can you get bored of English in 60 seconds? I don't know. So that's me with a newsletter talking about the great thing for English. I'm not going to find it. I don't know where it is. Oh, boo. Okay, anyway. So obviously the bird isn't really as big as the Eiffel Tower, but it kind of looks like it could be. It actually flew off the top of this post, and I waited. I was with Lil. I waited for a while to get this shot, and because I waited for a while, and I thought maybe the bird will fly off to the right. The Eiffel Tower's there. Wouldn't it be great if it looked like it was trying to land on the Eiffel Tower or eat the Eiffel Tower or something? So I waited, and I got the shot. I got a lot of shots which were not as good as this one. That's a professional technique. Take loads of shots. Another professional technique. Wait when you're bored out of your mind. Wait, 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 and be ready. Everything set up on the camera, hovering. Your finger is there. When the camera, make sure the camera doesn't auto go out, just because that's when the bird will start flying again. There it is. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Love it. And here's another one. It's me. Why am I showing you a photograph of me? So this is something I recommend you do. Have a subject that you take regularly, and you know what? Why not you? Why not you? You are you. Only you are you, and no one else is going to be you. You're only going to be you once. So why not watch yourself grow old gracefully or disgracefully, and in a creative way? I call this series Creative Disintegration, and or Perturbing Self-Portraits. And that's exactly what it is. I'm disintegrating, as we all are, slowly but surely. And what a way to go by trying to be as creative as I can with me as the subject, obviously filling your name in the gap every week. Every 10 days, as it happens, is my rhythm. And I publish them in my Paris Photo Chronicles because normally I'm in Paris. And it's just something that's really cool because not only do you come to terms with the fact that you're getting older, because it's okay though, because you realize you're constantly being creative and you only need you. But play with the environment. You can play with special effects on your phone, but play with your environment. Picture yourself with anything you like, with friends, with an animal, with a crazy sky from a crazy angle. So it's the ideal opportunity to be creative without having to bother anybody or even go anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere to take a picture of yourself, do you? Think about it. Play with reflections, play with anything you like. So there it is. And what did this become? Oh, it became a poem. Let's finish on a poem. I set myself this challenge, thanks to somebody, 𝗫𝗫𝗣𝗏, Bear's sister, giving me a book. And I noticed it had about 50 pages in it. And I thought, aha, I'm going to write a poem a week. And to be honest, I don't write in the book, but it inspires me. And I'm more or less at a poem a week, halfway through the year. And because I decided on that, and I was a bit behind, I started doing a few poems to catch up. Again, it's like my little technique for exercising. I've exercised every day this week because I put a little record and I said I would do it. Okay, it doesn't matter if you don't have to put pressure on your life if you don't want to. And yet I want to be creative, and sometimes I need to give myself a push. So there it is. So suddenly my brain is saying, hey, you're a bit behind. Do you want to do this or not? Do you want to do one poem a week or not? And I said, yeah, I do. So here we go. Older you get. I often wonder about this old guy, lurking there behind his pale dark eyes. Wonder if he thinks he's getting wiser, suspecting he might be doing okay, working weird stuff out in his own way, tortured gaze a convincing disguise, tormented artist his one proviso, makes me smile however hard I try. Now there was a rhythm to that, and I didn't quite get it right, but there it is, poem, sitting on a train, wondering what to do. I saw Bear's self-portrait. Which one did I see? I saw, where am I? I saw Bear's self-portrait. I saw this, and I read her text, and I said, here I am sitting on a train. I haven't done one of these myself. I'm going to take a shot. I'm sitting in a train, and I took the shot. And what am I doing? And the words came out, it took about 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe. And I had the poem and I had the shot. And if you notice, there's a couple of very nice yellow lines on either side of me, which and a funky angle and a kind of tortured look on my face, which I do kind of mock. I kind of hint that I'm not as miserable and tortured as I might appear. Or am I? That's it, folks. Remember the sponsor. If you're interested in Paris, check out my Paris masterclass, which you can get into now and which starts officially next year. But there's stuff right now if you want to. Come and join me in that. If you want to become a mega Paris guru, then you can. And apart from that, I'm pretty much over and out except for one thing. And that one thing is, don't have a theme for next week. What's it going to be? So I'm going to be thinking about that for a while, and I will see you very soon. and I can't wait to see what you come up with next week. If you enjoyed writing, why don't you check out the writing group, and I'll set a theme. I'll set a theme and see if anyone wants to do the writing theme. Okay, folks, that's it. Hope you're doing fine. Thanks for playing, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye for now.